All right, here is a good example of when we would use a while loop as opposed to a for loop. All right, so I've got a Boolean. I said bool game is running equals true on line 1. This is just a Boolean. Remember, Booleans are true or false. And then I did while game is running equals true. You also could write it like this. If you don't want to write the equals true, you could just write it like this because Booleans can be written shorthand. So this is equivalent to writing equals true. All right. If you want to write false, then you would put an exclamation point in front of it. That would be false. But I like to have everything nice and spelled out, so we're going to put double equals true. All right, so the first thing that the computer is going to do is going to write this line to the console. Type Y for yes, type N for no. So let's say we're like playing some sort of game, right? And the game runs until the person tells us to stop. So this is a great example of using a while loop because, again, we want the program to run until the person says to stop. So do we know how many times it's going to run? No, I have no idea. Maybe the person will play the game 10 times, 20 times, 1,000 times, one time. I actually have no idea how many times they're going to play the game. I just will want to have the game stop when the person says, types in N. So it's not going to be much of a game. There's not much in it. But I want the person to type Y if they want to continue the loop, and N if they want to stop. All right, line 6, if you remember, is going to grab what the user types in the console and save it in a variable. So I did user input equals console.readLine. And then if user input is N, then do this. Right? They're going to say you are free from the while loop, and we're going to do break. Break is a new keyword. What break does is it stops the while loop. Okay, you could do break, or we also could do game is running equals false. And we'll do it this way. They accomplish the same thing. Okay, break basically means just stop the loop. Okay, whatever you're doing, just stop it. But I'll make game is running equals false to kind of show you like how to kind of reinforce what's happening up here. All right, so let's run this. All right, so it says type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm going to type Y. All right, so notice how it goes back. So like right now we're on line 5. Okay, so line 5, it printed that out. Line 6 is waiting for me to type in something. All right, let's say I type in Y. And then, okay, cool, typed Y. It went all the way down to line 13 because I didn't put Y in, so it skips line 8 through 12. Gets to line 13, then goes all the way back up to line 3. Game is running, it's still true, so we start back on line 5. And this will continue forever. If I just type Y, it will do this over and over and over again. Now, watch what happens when I type in N. So on line 8, I say, okay, cool. If the user types in a lowercase n, you are free from the while loop. And notice how the program stopped. All right, we broke free from the loop. So this is a great case for a while loop because you can have the user type as many things as you want. Maybe I did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, right? We don't know how many times the user is going to do this sort of thing. They can do it once and then quit out. That's possible. They could do it 3 times and then quit out. Okay, a for loop, we have to kind of know how many times we want to run the code. Maybe they have like 10 times. Like maybe we say, okay, cool, we're going to count up from 1 to 10. That's a set number of times or set numbers. While basically says, hey, just do it until I tell you to stop. You can think of it like someone filling up your glass, like, getting a refill, and you just like say, okay, cool, we're good. All right, like the while loop is basically saying, you tell me when to stop. I'll keep running the code. I'll keep filling your glass up with water for as long as you tell me. And then the second you don't want me to do anymore, you tell me to stop. So if we look at our code again, I have a Boolean called game is running equals true. Okay, line 3, it will check to see, hey, if game is running equals true, which it initially will, it will run what's inside the while loop. So it will print this out. It will ask the user for information. And then if the user's input is lowercase n, it will exit out by writing this line and then making game is running equals false. Remember, if game is running equals false, it'll come back up to the line 3, and this won't be true anymore. If game is running equals false, then this is no longer a thing, right? This is not, the while loop is not satisfied anymore, so the while loop will stop. That's why when I run it, if I type in Y, then the variable game is running is still true. The second I hit N, game is running will be false, and therefore the while loop will stop. It will exit the while loop. All right, so this is great example of when to use while. So a for loop would be very, very, like, you need to, like, count up or count down from something, right? That's the whole point. Like I could have them do something similar to the above code, but the problem is I need a set number of times. I need a number, 20, 100, 50, all right? This does it over and over again until I tell it to stop. The number of times it actually does things is irrelevant. I don't really care. I just want it to do it until the person tells them to stop. This is a bit difficult to grasp for some beginners, but try to like think about that. All right, like one is like filling up a glass, having a person say stop. This is like how many orders how many of X do you want? All right, that means the exact number. All right, so that should hopefully give you a better grasp of the difference between a while loop and a for loop.